listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record Show. When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Wake up, let's unite.
Hey, Steve Jones here with Rocket Valley and the Wake Up Rise Up Weekly Show. This is where you're going to be meeting some of the people who are involved with the Wake Up Rise Up World Peace Concert that will be airing on September 21st. And right now we're looking at about 40 to 50 hours, and that's where somebody should come around to my house around 45 hours and check me for a pulse. So I am very privileged right now to have on stage with me here Ali Hackett. Well, Ali doesn't actually have a stage with Wake Up Rise Up. I wanted to bring Ali on the show this year because he's one of the original members of Wake Up Rise Up from last year. And Ali has a fantastic story to talk about. He's a good friend, and he's just really a nice guy. And Ali, that cost you $10.
I appreciate it. Checks in the mail, man. They always
checks
say
in
the mail.
Yeah, I know that. And, the thing is, I keep giving you the right address, but it ends up at my neighbor's house. What's with that, man? Ali, it's good to see you, man. You're looking great.
You as well, my brother. You as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know if you were aware. I was one of the original people in the Wake Up Rise Up, and I had a show last year. This year, things have just gotten so hectic. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm just be right up front and 100%. I am scared of the COVID. I really am. So I decided not to have a show. And even though you can do it all virtually and this, that, and the other, I'm like you. I'm old fashioned. I like to have hands on. I like to be there. I like to set up an auditorium or whatever the case is, have the people come in, and then we tape it, we edit it, and send it in. And That's pretty much what we did last year. And since I couldn't do that with all of the facilities and everything involved, I decided just not to have a show this year. But I am still involved in Wake Up and Rise Up. You can call me, Doug can call me, anybody can call me, and I'll lend my support, because I do believe and always have believed that this is a necessity in this world that we live in today. And as you know my story, so I know it's a necessity.
You do. You have a fantastic story, and it's one of the most frightening, fantastic stories I've ever seen. Heard, I should say. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And a very big motivation for somebody to be getting involved with something like Wake Up Rise Up.
Right.
And just briefly, what happened to you? Tell our audience what happened.
Well, for the folks, your listening audience and viewing audience who didn't know, some years ago, a friend of mine called me from my hometown in Chester and asked me to come home and do his mom's birthday party. I'm a disc jockey. Everybody knows that. And I told him, I said, I'll be glad to. And at the time I was living in Jersey. So coming home to Chester was where the party was. Went home, did the party. We had a great time. At the end of the night, a couple of friends, 4 or 5 of them, said, look, we're going to go out to the restaurant, Tom Jones in Brookhaven, and have breakfast. Why don't you join us? I said, as soon as I pack up, get paid, I'll come your way. Well, that never happened. As I was finishing packing up, some knucklehead come around the corner and stuck a gun in my face, talk about give it up. Well, we tussled. I got close enough to get to him to the gun, and we tussled, and somehow or another his gun hand got loose from me. I knew I had to get away from him then. I got maybe about 10 feet away from him before he shot me in the back. He shot me, and he came and he stood with me in between his legs and shot me 5 more times. Then he went away. And that, mind you, there were people milling around outside, after the club is over. But when people hear gunshots, nobody starts to ask any questions. They get out of Dodge.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what happened. So I was left there laying on the sidewalk. I got up and I got in my truck and I was trying to position myself because not only was I losing blood, there was a lot of pain involved in this. And out the corner of my eye, as I'm sitting in my truck looking like this now, I see him coming back with the gun talking about, I'm going to kill you, with some very colorful language. I reached over, like I'm sitting here now, and you can't really hardly see my right hand moving, but I reached over in my glove compartment and got my gun, turned around and pulled the trigger. Well, he saw it and ran off. The safety was on, which is why the gun didn't go off, I was incensed. I got out of the car and I chased this guy for 5 blocks.
6 slugs in you, and you're running after a guy.
Full speed. I just lost it, man. I just lost it. I didn't have any sense of time or what had happened to me. I was just mad that somebody tried to hurt me for no reason.
Yeah.
And after about the 5th or 6th block or so, it looked like a big red light came on in my head and said, "Fool, you've been shot. Go to the hospital." So I turned around and I walked back, got in my truck, and drove over to Croce Hospital. At the time, the nurses were out on a smoke break, and they happened to see how erratically I was driving in the parking lot. They rushed over to the car and opened my door, and I fell out. And they immediately took me up to the operating room. So that's the gist of pretty much of what happened. So number one, I'm very, very blessed to still be here to tell this story.
Yep.
And number two, I am a major, major force and a part of this Wake Up Rise Up because it has really gone crazy here now. People just shoot you for no reason at all. When you and I were growing up, it was a fair fight. You know what I mean? Me and you fight. We could fight for 3 days in a row. It didn't make a difference. Mama would call out and say, "Come to dinner." We'd stop the fight, go to dinner, come back out and start the fight again. It was only me and you. It wasn't, 20, 30 people stabbing and shooting. It wasn't that, So I am a major, major, major reason why Wake Up, Rise Up, it will continue to be, and I will always be a part of it.
And I'm very grateful for that because you are a very positive influence with Wake Up, Rise Up, a strong motivating factor. I will tell you that I will never steal one of your French fries.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, you're running with 6 slugs in you, and I'm going to take a French fry? No. And, okay, unless you say I can't, then I will. But, that's completely amazing. And it's indicative of just how much adrenaline was pumping through your body at that time.
Yeah.
It's amazing what the human body can take and what can do. I remember seeing some of these amazing feats on the TV when I was younger. Something happened and a guy's buddy got trapped under a helicopter in a small pond or something. And a big guy walked over, and it wasn't one of these big Hueys, you know what I mean? A big truck was like a glass bubble front. He picks up the helicopter. Wow. They pull the guy out. And then once the guy was safe, he drops the helicopter. He walks away going, "Ooh, I shouldn't have done that,"
Right.
For the moment, he had superhuman strength.
Yeah. In a time of a crisis, and it has not been explained to me where I understand it, your body can go through some things. I remember as a youngster, honest to God truth, I remember as a youngster, my brothers and I were playing in my aunt's car, just playing in the car, back and forth. Somehow or another, one of the brothers hit the brake. The car now starts to back up down the street by itself. Well, my aunt saw it, ran over and grabbed the bumper and stopped the car.
Hey.
I remember this as plain as I'm sitting here talking to you. Grabbed the bumper. The car's already picking up momentum going backwards, going down the hill. She grabbed the bumper and stopped the car and then ran around to the driver's side, stuck her hand, opened the door, stuck her foot on the brake and stopped the car. She grabbed the bumper like she was Superman. I remember seeing that. I've never had an explanation for it, but this has not only happened to me, and neither was the shooting incidents. This has happened to people all over the world who have had unexplained situations that they have, overcome.
Yeah, it is amazing what the human body can take and what the
Absolutely.
human body will put out. Yeah, and you're just a miracle on legs. I mean, doing what you're doing, and
Thank you.
your inspiration and so forth. And it's Wake Up, Rise Up is a strong force. It's hit its own challenges over the last 2 years as it's been going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big organization. I commented to somebody once we were having just a chat, and I said it's very organic.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's growing, and while one side's growing and the other side is not, and it's kind of this whole balancing act that's going on, and but it's as a whole, it's an avalanche, it's a tsunami, and we've got people involved now who are spreading the word into the Caribbean,
right,
the Caribbean,
right,
okay? And other places, and I don't know. I mean, it's like you've got a couple of days on me. What do you think of this unrest, as they call it now, or perhaps war, over in Ukraine? That's kind of scary, isn't it? I mean,
it's very scary. Anytime there's taking of lives, it's very scary. Anytime, for no reason at all, for no real reason at all. Let's put it that way.
Well,
anytime that type of situation, and it's almost the same as Wake Up, Rise Up. We started out with the violence and the shootings that's in Philadelphia and the area that we live in. But we are here in Philadelphia. Who knows what's going on in London? Who knows what's going on in Africa? Who knows what's going on in Brazil? And basically, it's some of the same type of situation. So this Wake Up, Rise Up situation is not only good for Philadelphia area, it's good for the entire world.
It's interesting. And a thought just occurred to me while you're talking about this. Our planet is getting very small. If you think back to the 1700s, let's just go back to there, just pick that time. The 1700s, this planet was big. To go from the colonies back then to England, what did it take? 2 months to get across the Atlantic?
Mm-hmm.
Now we can do the Atlantic in 5 hours.
Right.
10 hours, something like that, right?
Right.
All right. So our world's been getting smaller and smaller. The internet brings us real-time images from pretty much anywhere in the world.
Right.
Okay. Then we sit back and we've got the war going on. We've got floods going on. We see all this stuff in real time, right? Now we're going to turn around and we're going to say, all right, guys, we need to get some peace here because all hell's breaking loose and we got to stop this. Now we just found out how big the world is again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we've got, I'm not sure how many stages. I think it's 30 right now, something like that.
Okay.
We've got 30 stages. And they're dotted all over Pennsylvania and the United States and a couple up in Canada. And there's a bunch over that are coming online over in Europe and Finland and some other places. It's not enough.
No.
30 stages just made the world big again.
Yeah.
How many you got down there in Philadelphia last year? 4?
I think it was no. Well, wait a minute. Well, you mean in Philadelphia? It must have been about 4. Yeah, I think it was about 4.
So, and look how big Philadelphia is. What you got? 2 million, 5 million people down there. It's large, and you got only 5 stages.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, McDonald's has got more down there than that.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's kind of funny to say it, but I mean, think about it. You are going to bring your product of peace to the Philadelphia metropolitan area with 4 stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to do it up here.
I not to disagree with you, Steve, but I flip it the other way. And I think I sort of have to look at it this way. And I encourage others to as well. You got to start somewhere.
Well, you do. I agree 100%.
Years ago, there was not even this. We got 4 in Philadelphia.
It's an increase of 400%.
Mine is in Delaware. Mine was in Delaware. I think you had 1 in Chester. So that's in the immediate area. I don't know how many were in Atlantic City. There was a couple in Atlantic City. So the immediate tri-state area, you had maybe about 7 or 8, maybe let's just say 10.
We had 2 up here.
Yeah, and that's not enough.
No, it's not.
But it's better than what we had 4 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. We
And
got to
that's the
start small.
direction I have to keep looking at, that we're better. And I really tussled with this idea of me not having a show, because I said I'm a founding member, and I think that people, look up to me and what have you. But I looked at the other side of it, the COVID side. That really scares me. It really, really, really scares me, man. Really does. I'm being 100% honest here. It really scares me. And I don't want to put anybody else in danger or whatever. And to be honest with you, Steve, the virtual thing does not work for me very well. It's the best we have under the circumstances. But you, like me, coming from the old school where we had hands-on, this virtual thing just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I miss getting up on the stage. I love my stage time. I love standing there at the mic and doing my thing. Our best shows were over at the Jetport, where I was on the stage. I had my crew standing over there. We'd end up having it would end up being like the Rat Pack. Right. Okay, we kibitz back and forth. It was fun. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm going in a circle here, but we need more. We need more stores, quote unquote. We need more stages. We can't just service an area with 10 stores, the tri-state area. Right. We need to service it with 50 stores. Okay, and maybe we have 10 main stages, but we have little spots where everyone knows they can go and talk to somebody about peace. Maybe you might have I don't know. I'm not even sure what the heck to do. But it would take somebody, to sit down, you, me, Doug, you brainstorm and say, okay, this is how we need to do this.
Right.
People are hungry to have some kind of peace. You want to sit on your front porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I could run around the neighborhood. We would play hide and seek in 15 yards. Mm-hmm. Now you don't leave your own yard.
That's true. You don't even go outside, pretty much.
Yeah.
You don't even go outside.
No. Yeah. You stay. Yeah. You don't. I mean, I stay in my house a lot. I've got where I live. I live in a controlled community. All right. I've got one of the biggest lots in here. Okay. I don't even use the whole lot.
Okay.
Okay. But that's fine, because maybe one day I will.
Okay.
But it needs to change. And what you have started, what I'm continuing, and what Doug and Carmen works. And I really appreciate it. What you started, and I always appreciate your friendship. Tell us about your radio station. You put stuff on.
Oh man, listen, that's what's keeping me really, really busy. And I think that all folks on the radio have amped up their services because of COVID. You know what I mean? We can't do live stuff anymore and what have you, to a degree. But my Thursday night show, rememberthenradio.com, this coming Thursday, I put my foot into something that I was just casually talking about, and now it's bloomed. I'm doing Stax versus Motown. Not only the music and the artist, but the ideals behind Stax starting, behind Motown starting, and what they continue. And that's going to be very, very interesting, with the conversation from some of the different people that I have rubbed elbows with over the years. Cool. Friday night, we're still doing our live podcast. This Friday, I've got a sponsor. We're doing it at the restaurant called The Legend Restaurant here in Newcastle, Delaware. My guest will be the Ritchie family, who, as you know, were formerly Honey and the Bees out of Philadelphia. Yep. So that's going very, very well. And the Saturday morning show is with the overseas show that I do, CosmosRadioNetwork.com.
Yes, that's with Doug.
Yeah.
Not Doug, Sean. He is a Doug, yeah. But he is a Doug, but he's actually Sean.
I got it. Right? Yeah.
The Bees, the Bees one, weren't they on Soul Train?
Yeah, yes, probably. Yes, they were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know who they are, because we were talking about that. I'm thinking, who the devil were they? I'm trying to remember. And okay,
very good friends of mine. I've been in contact with most of them that I was in contact with for years. I just try to stay in contact with them. Some have passed on. Fred Wesley's wife, Gwen, was one of the original members. She passed last year. So, we always pay homage and pay honor to her. And I talk to Fred Wesley quite often, just to, hey, man, how you doing? That type of thing, just to keep him on his toes and what have you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you have to send that actual link over because I'll put that link right in here.
I'll do that.
Do the editing.
I'll do that.
And Ali, that's about as much time as we got here. And I'd like to thank you for coming on here, the weekly show. And always a pleasure, man. I love it.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you inviting me. You know, all you got to do if you need me, just pick up the phone. I'll be right there.
Fantastic. So that's it for tonight. And this is Steve Jones with the Wake Up, Rise Up weekly show, along with Ali Hackett here. And we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Be with us next week. And just with what's been backing up behind me, if I haven't started it yet, we're going to be doing double shows on Sunday nights. So we'll see you next week here in 5 minutes with another show. Steve Jones here with Rock in the Valley. See you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
I'm the founder of Peace Amongst Youth, which is a nonprofit organization based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. The purpose of my organization is to bring awareness to how our community is impacted by violent crimes and the negative impact it has on us as a whole, going untreated. I'm personally in this mission because I lost my 13-year-old son to gun violence in 2012. Until today, I'm fighting the justice system for my son who's now.
Please listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record Show. When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Let's unite, 'cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights, 'cause our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite, 'cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights, 'cause our lives matter.
It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Love your brother, love your sister, please treat them right. Don't wait until they're almost dead to feed the poor, even with a loaf of bread. Yeah.
Let's unite.
Yeah.
Our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights, 'cause our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite, 'cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights, 'cause our lives matter. Wave your hands in the air, wave your hands in the world, show the world that we can. Wave your hands in the air, wave your hands in the world, wave your hands, you can.
Breaking news is the same old mess. Someone got shot, can't snitch, no arrest. Here's the basic information before leaving Earth. Open up that book, it's all in the Word.
Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sins, and will heal their land.
Human traffic, kidnapping, this is too wild. Another missing child. Why complain about the politicians you call a joke? In the end, you won't even go and vote.
Wake up, let's unite, 'cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights, 'cause our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite, 'cause our lives matter.
Children, I've come back today
to tell the story of the long, hard way that I had to climb, that I had to know, in order that my race might live and grow. Look at my face, dark as the night, yet shining like the sun, the love's true light. I am the child they stole from the sand 300 years ago in Africa's land.